Alrighty, so I'm out here on Edisto, and I just noticed something on these yuccas over here that I just got to make a quick little video about. So this is Yucca loifolia. You can tell because it is a colony-forming yucca. It's quite tall, and if you get right on the leaves, you can see that there is some very fine hacksaw-like silicate serrations on the edge of this, and no filaments hanging anywhere. Yucca filamentosa has, well, filaments, and Yucca gloriosa does not have the serrated leaf margin. So this is Yucca loifolia, which I think is called Spanish needles, I think. My aloe yucca, just call it that. But anyway, what I'm more interested in is this guy right here. This little kind of just dingus hanging off the top of the yucca. That is a frass tube from a Yucca Giant-Skipper. Now, just last year in 2022, it's November of 2023 now, the Yucca Giant-Skipper just had a mass eruption year, and it recolonized the coastal plain of South Carolina, the extreme coastal plain, the barrier islands and sea islands and whatnot. So historically, the Yucca Giant-Skipper has been found all throughout the coastal plain. But about 30 years ago, I think, there was a parasite that swept through and just wiped them all off the coast. Well, in 2022, me and some colleagues saw a report of a Yucca Giant-Skipper caterpillar on James Island, and we investigated and found 40-something yucca caterpillars. And then these same yuccas last spring in April were just littered in dozens of eggs. Never found the butterfly, but there were eggs everywhere. And can't remember if I found any caterpillars or not at that time. I think I did. But I just wanted to talk real quick about the signs that one can use to look for Yucca Giant-Skipper activity on yuccas. This time of year in the fall, you want to be looking for these frass tubes, which are going to be coming out of the top of the plant here on Yucca loifolia because the plant's so tall. Which means we also need to talk about what to look for real early in the season. In mid-April, you're going to want to be looking for, these big fat skipper butterflies like that big, just flying around in the early morning and landing, around the yuccas and ovipositing on the yuccas. The eggs are hemispherical. I believe they have some lines on it. I'll put some photos up here. They're not very big, just like pinhead size. But they'll just be scattered on the tops and the undersides of the yucca leaves. Then when the caterpillars hatch, they go out and they form a little frass cubbyhole at the tip of a yucca leaf. And so if you look at yuccas several months later, in summer or fall, you want to look for just this. You want to look for leaf tips that are just dead. The rest of the leaf is fine, but the tip is, for whatever reason, dead. Like this. That is caused by the Yucca Giant-Skipper caterpillar. Let me see if I can find some better examples. These have had several months to grow, so a lot of that has disappeared. But as the caterpillars get bigger, they stop feeding on the tip of the leaf. And you can tell when there's a caterpillar in there because there'll be a leaf tip like this. And about this, these things are serrated. I need to watch myself. And about this far down the leaf tip, it'll just all be brown. And there'll just be a little bit of web here with just a little bit of frass hanging out the end of it. And that's where the caterpillar is when it's in its, I think, first and second instar. And then after that, it actually migrates to the bud. And so in early spring, there will just kind of be, well, it'll look like this. There'll be a little point of, blades, needles, leaves sticking up out the center of the plant. And they'll migrate down to that and they'll start drilling a hole kind of spiral-like through it. And you can see on some of these yuccas, these kind of spotty damage. Where was one? This one shows it really good. You can see the kind of holes in there where the caterpillar has drilled itself through the new growth as it's moved down. Once the caterpillar gets through the bud and it gets a little bit older, it'll actually move down into the stem. And on short yuccas, like not tall ones like these aloifolias, but like filamentosas and gloriosas, they'll actually bore down into the root. And it kind of creates a tunnel through the entire length of the plant stem. and that's where it'll eventually pupate, is down there. But this time of year, you can find this frass tube right here, and the pupa in this aloifolia will be somewhere in the upper part of the stem of this plant. And so down underneath here somewhere should be the pupa itself. I'm not going to dig it out, but aloifolia has, it secretes an aloe. So you kind of have this like resin-like gunk, and this is rock hard all over the plant. This one looks really fresh. Like, I think there may still be a caterpillar in that one right there. You can even see the frass coming out of it. It's chilly out today, so I don't want to... Oh yeah, you can even see the web in there. See right in there? That white? That's a silk created by the caterpillar. Also, if you note on this one, all this is moving. That's because this is a hollow tube with gunk just glued to the side of it. So down in there is a caterpillar. So this time of year, finding these frass tubes, there's another one over yonder, and that one. Finding these frass tubes is a good indicator that you have, pupating butterflies. And this is a great place to check back in April to look for adult butterflies. The Yucca Giant-Skippers are back on the coast now. I found them I'm on Edisto Island right now. I found them on James Island, Edisto Island, and on Paris Island in Beaufort. And they've also been seen on Spring Island. There's also a potential Kofakies on Spring Island, but we'll have to see whether or not anything comes of that, because the Yucca Giant-Skipper, its frass tube comes out the top of the plant, just out the middle of the stem, but the Kofakies, it comes out of the ground nearby the plant. And someone on Spring Island found frass tube coming out the bottom of the plant. I actually went and looked at the frass tube, and I think it may have just been a Yucca Giant-Skipper that was coming out the side of the plant, because it wasn't really on the ground away from it. It was kind of out the side of the stem itself. It was still on the plant. So I think the skipper just went down far enough that it came out the side rather than coming out the top. But anyway, there's potentially even Kofakies down on the coast now, so we'll have to keep our eyes out next year. But they're back on the coast, so keep your eyes peeled for Yucca Giant-Skippers if you're looking for butterflies in mid to late April in the extreme coastal plain of South Carolina. So that's just a cool, neat thing going on right now in the Carolinas. We have had Yucca Giant-Skippers return to us. If you like this kind of stuff, consider giving the video a like, comment, and if you want to see more neat butterfly updates from around the Carolinas, you gotta subscribe. So smash that big gray button over there. Until next time, Tom out.